Hello, this is David from DN Cognitive Counseling. Today we're going to discuss breaking up. For those of you who have never experienced it, let me try to help you to visualize what that feels like. If you've ever seen any movie where they've shown Harry or seppuku, where they take a knife, cut out the bowels, and let it come out of your body, that is generally the feeling that most people feel when the person who they feel they love rejects them or makes them feel unwanted. That feeling is incredibly painful and has far-reaching effects. People can lose sleep, have difficulty with appetite, go into a state of depression, can even feel suicidal. Breakups are incredibly powerful because they're not only the ending of the relationship, which gave you some sort of pleasure and enjoyment, but there was also the idea of the future and what you projected into that person. The feeling is, I will never love that way again. And the fact is, you may not. But what's important to remember is that love is not a one-shot deal. You didn't come into this world loving the person that you broke up with. You were doing okay at certain points in your life, going along, and then this attachment grew. Now, sometimes we have to look at what's our fault. What did we do? What did we have in the relationship that we didn't do? What could we improve? And that's actually a good way of looking at relationships and trying to improve yourself so that you make them better for you as a person and you grow. So in breaking up, one of the things that you can do is try to imagine what it was that went wrong. What was the part that you played? Sometimes it has nothing to do with you at all. Sometimes the other person was projecting things to you. They were saying things to you. They were giving you a false idea of the strength of the relationship. And what ends up happening is the rug is just torn out from under you, where you had no clue that they felt a different way. You had no indication that they were doing whatever they were doing, and the next thing they know is they're moving on. And you're left empty and hurt. Those feelings are important, and the recognition of those feelings are important. Knowing that you felt that way was not a weakness inside of you, but it does tell you that in a relationship, you can't control the outcome. A relationship is supposed to be an enhancement to your life, but not the necessity of it. We all do need relationships, that is true. But that particular relationship is not the end-all and be-all. The fact is that we will find other love. We will find other connections. Now, will the connection be as great as the one that you had? Maybe, but maybe not. But the connections will still be worth it. In fact, in certain ways, some connections that we create feel very powerful emotionally, where we need that connection, that aspect, and that's actually not even a healthy connection, but it's almost like a drug-seeking connection, where the relationship is so powerful that you're willing to give anything for it at the sacrifice of self. Now, it's a very profound connection and hard to lose. But in the long run of your life, it might not be the healthiest. On the same token, on the flip side, not the same token, on the flip side, the other aspect is that you might have a relationship where it's much more healthy, more balanced, where it's not necessarily as intense, but it produces a better long-term result. Leo Buscaglia wrote many books on the different concepts of love. Too many times we interpret one type of love without understanding that there are other types. There are many people and many types of connections of love that we can make. Don't believe me? Look at your relationships now. Do you love your father? Do you love your mother? Do you love your brothers and sisters? Well, obviously, some of you might say no, but, in terms of the general public, we generally have love for people in our family. And we don't go, oh my God, my love is only for this one person. We have multiple people that we love. If you've broken up with somebody, was this your first breakup? Was there ever a breakup before? Did you love anybody else prior? Start asking yourself these questions. Start understanding how your love actually manifests and works. Because the truth is, we're capable of loving multiple people. If you have multiple children, you love all of them. But you don't want to say, well, this one child, that's the one that I truly love. The other ones I don't love as much. And this is where we get ourselves into problems of these connections. The more that we are holding on to those connections, the more it shows there was something unhealthy about them. Now, don't get me wrong. When you break up, there is a mourning period. It's natural. It's normal. It shows you that you did love that person. If it's 2 years down the line and you're still mourning that person, there's a problem. So there's a mourning period that takes place during a breakup that's absolutely normal. And we all need to understand that that's an absolutely normal process. And it is painful. And it tears you up inside. And you need the emotional support during that time period. Going out to be social is difficult during that time. But it's an imperative thing. Because you'll find that one person says something to you or does something for you, and all of a sudden it minimizes that pain. On the same token, the worst thing to do after you've broken up is put on the radio, because every other song is about love lost. And when you hear it, it triggers inside of you the emotions and feelings. So what you want to do is build inside of yourself a support network for yourself to help mitigate and recognize that you are not alone, that it's not just you. And the reality is we all need multiple relationships in our lives. That's why we have friends, family, people that we love, or in a love relationship. It's not all or nothing. And we have to appreciate those other relationships more and hold on to them more when we're going through the loss. I'll give you an example the opposite way. Maybe it'll help you. You're in this loving relationship, this loving marriage. Everything is going great. And what happens is your mother dies. Does that mean at that time when you're in a state of mourning that you don't love your spouse? And the answer is obviously no. But the process of mourning your mother or your father or a sibling doesn't negate the love you have for that other relationship. And the same thing is true when we go through a breakup. We can't lose sight of our friends. We can't lose sight of our family. We need to rely on them to help build us up during our time of mourning. And again, it's absolutely natural to mourn. People ask, what should I do? How should I feel about that person who hurt me so badly? And the answer is, if you truly love them and that you love them, then you want what's best for them. You don't want them to suffer and be in pain and hurt because they left you. You want them to end up happy and secure and having a good life. Because if you truly love them, then that's your desire for them, is to see good for them. If it's all about you and your emotional need, then the truth of the matter is that's not the case. Then it's not a matter of love. That's about possession. It doesn't mean that you could have a good, healthy relationship with the person, because the fact is it's going to constantly be an open wound. Because once you have those feelings for that person, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. One of the most difficult things that people say is, let's just be friends. It doesn't go backwards. Once a cucumber turns into a pickle, it can't go back to being a cucumber. Once you love a person on that level, you can't go back to going, okay, I'll just put my feelings back in the box and we can be friends. It's one of the most damaging things that people say afterwards, or even if people that they try to maintain it, normally causes a problem because it's normally reopening that. Now, what is the reason why people say this? For the person breaking up, it's a way of pushing distance and then saying, well, I'm not going to feel like I'm pushing you totally away. To the person who agrees to it, more often than not, the ploy is, I'm going to wait for them to change their mind and come back to me, which again is not helpful. I hope that you like this video. I hope that if you have any questions or concerns that you'll write and ask. If you disagree with anything I said in this video, please tell me. And if you like this channel, please subscribe if you haven't. And if you want to become a patron to this account, please hit the Subscribe-star button and please do that as well. And thank you very much. And I hope that you heal well.